Want to be the first to know about the most exciting new mass market tarot and oracle decks coming out this month? I'm Elowyn, and in this latest installment of my new releases series, we'll explore upcoming tarot and oracle decks, highlight intriguing new tarot books, and help you discover which ones might be a perfect match for your tastes. So, grab your glasses if you need them, get comfortable, and stay tuned to find some new favorites to add to your collection. Before we start window shopping, you'll find links in the description below for everything we'll cover today. Some of these are affiliate links. Using the affiliate links doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps support the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Releasing on May 5th is Wise Earth Medicine Tarot. This deck will retail for $24.95 in the US and is published by Wiser Books. It will come with a 96-page full-color booklet. Now, this deck is by Lalania Simone. Lalania also created Tarot of the Cosmic Seed, a beautiful tarot deck, and the Oracle of Awakening. Drawing upon the author's indigenous ancestral knowledge, this beautiful deck presents the tarot as a form of earth medicine. Focusing on the animistic realm, this tarot deck and guidebook takes us on an internal vision quest where we learn the wisdom of all natural things. The guidebook includes the traditional tarot meanings as well as an oracle-style message. The message presents the medicine, a word used in indigenous spiritual traditions to refer to the spiritual healing power with which each animal or plant is endowed. So let's take a peek at this deck. Here we can see the box looks like a hard box, and some of the cards with the animals on here. Very beautiful colors. I love the colors that Lalania uses in her decks. And we have a green edging. Very nice. Very nice. I love that. Nice bright pop of green. And the first card we have here is King of Water. And we have 3 key words on the deck. So diplomacy, compassion, emotional balance for this King of Water. And then we have Ace of Earth, opportunity, stability, beginnings. And I see here that they are using the elemental associations as opposed to saying wands or cups or pentacles. So that's what they're doing here, which makes sense with the animals. 3 of wind, so instead of swords or air, they're using wind. 5 of fire, beautiful. The Empress, what a nice Empress. I love that, the mama bear. Very cool. Death, we have a vulture for death. I like that. That's clever because we have end, transformation, rebirth. That makes a lot of sense to me. Very beautiful. So here we can see some more of these beautiful animal choices here. And example of the write-up, so we have the number, the card name, the animal associated, the 3 keywords, the short traditional message, and then the medicine message. Now up here, actually, we have a video, so let's take a look. Okay. Beautiful box. We have some gold on the front and the sides, 2-piece hard box with finger cutouts. Nice message on the inside with a cool pattern. Ooh, beautiful cover of that guidebook. I love that, especially with the blue that pops. And there's the back, so shiny green edging. I couldn't tell if that was matte or not. And here we can see some more. Justice. Okay. Ooh, 5 of water with that sea turtle. Beautiful. Love these colors. Ooh, look at that. Oh, so here we have a plant. So the plant medicine there. Very nice. So that's a look at Wise Earth Medicine Tarot. And I want to mention that $24.95 for 78 cards to me is a good price, especially when it comes with a nice guidebook and a hard box and this beautiful artwork. So that's a look at Wise Earth Medicine Tarot. Releasing May 6th is Kate Forsyth's Fairytale Oracle. I'm not sure if I'm saying their name right, so hopefully I am. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Rockpool Publishing. The guidebook will be 144 pages. So let's take a look at this. Looks like some beautiful illustrations here, and I'm guessing that's a hard box. And here I can see a card that says Stolen Herb as the largest lettering, and then below it, it says Desire, and above it, it says Rapunzel. This must be the guidebook. Quite beautiful. Another look at the box. And some more cards here. I think that's watercolor. And then on the right, we can see the backs of the cards. And the box is a flip open with that interesting sort of lid there. Very nice. So here again, we have Rapunzel. We have a number 3. Then it says Ladder of Hair. And below it, it says Spiritual Ascension. This is beautiful artwork. So again, we have Beauty and the Beast. Number 16, Consent, the Power to Choose. Here we have The Little Mermaid, 20, Dagger, Seize the Sword. So this is not shying away from deeper subjects just because it's a fairy tale. And of course, fairy tales definitely can cover some darker stories, so it looks like we have some of that in here. Here we have Bluebeard, Forbidden Chamber, Disobedience. Wow, this is pretty cool. Wild Swans, Swan, Creative Inspiration. Magic Mirror, very beautiful. Self-Reflection, Snow White. I love this artwork. Oh, I like her ring. I would wear that. Okay, so we have a contents. We have how to use the cards, the Fairytale Oracle cards, and it looks like it's broken down by story. So we have the story of Rapunzel, the story of Sleeping Beauty, the story of Cinderella, introduction, how to use the cards, the Fairytale Oracle cards. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that image. Okay. Wow, great artwork. So an example of the write-up. So in this example, we have a full color picture of the card, and then it says Cinderella, 9, Rags and Ashes, Injustice. Oh, interesting. And then below it, it has Dark Face, and here it says people can be cruel and unfair. And then it says Bright Face, you can overcome injustice. And then we have a message below it, and then a smaller meaning at the bottom. So it follows the same pattern here. That's really interesting with the dark face and the bright face. So for example here, this one is Beauty and the Beast Rose, love is worth the risk. The dark face is passion has its price. The bright face is risking the pain is worth it for love. Very neat. Sounds like it might be some powerful messages here. And some more examples of write-ups that you can read here. Very beautiful. This is exciting. I love that artwork. And I'm curious to see how the writing is. It looks good so far. So that's a look at the Fairytale Oracle by Rockpool Publishing. Releasing on May 6th is Broadway Tarot. This deck will retail for $24.95 in the US and is published by Smith Street Gift. And it looks like the guidebook will be 78 pages. Broadway Tarot is based on the structure of the classic Rider-Waite-Smith system. Each card has been thoughtfully paired with an iconic Broadway musical beautifully illustrated by Melbourne-based artist Ella Witchell, featuring much-loved classics like Singin' in the Rain, Les Miserables, Funny Girl, and Chicago, to newer favorites like Wicked, Hamilton, Kinky Boots, and Six. The cards are accompanied by a guidebook to introduce each musical and explain the relationship to the relevant tarot card. So that's fun. Let's take a look at this. See your future up in lights. I like that box. It looks like the top is a bit like a flap that flips open. Here are the backs of the cards. We have that curtain look repeated again. And for the Fool, we have the Wiz. And for the Magician, we have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's fun. And for the High Priestess, we have Mary Poppins. Very cool. And for the Empress, we have Mamma Mia. The Emperor, we have the Lion King. And for the Hierophant, we have the Book of Mormon. And then for the Lovers, we have Hadestown. I actually haven't seen that, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. So let's see if we have anything else here. Definitely this is fun, and if you are into Broadway and musicals, this might be a great deck for you. Okay, so we can see some more images here. We can see some of the minors. And I'm just checking. So it looks like the minors, from everything they're showing here, are fully illustrated. So that is fantastic. I love fully illustrated things. I do love pips, but I love more to look at. So it's nice to have fully illustrated cards. Okay. Very exciting. So that's a look at Broadway Tarot. Releasing May 6th is the Witchcraft Therapy Oracle deck, Intuitive Messages for Mental Health Magic. This deck will retail for $19.95 in the US and is published by Chronicle Prism. The guidebook is 144 pages. An oracle deck that helps you cut through the BS the world throws at you from chaotic wellness with Witch Mandi M. Whether you're building a daily mental health practice or reaching for these cards for guidance on a specific issue, this brilliant tool lets you access your inner wellness witch to find direction. Mandi M brings her signature brand of edgy, honest, chaotic wellness advice to this deck of 60 illustrated cards. The guidebook helps you interpret the cards and use your own magic to manifest self-care through witchy spells and healing rituals. So let's take a look at this. So I'm guessing this is the box, and we already read that on the description. So here we go. First card example is Zoom Out. Then we have World View. So kind of watercolor backgrounds, and then almost looks like maybe graphic overlays over those watercolors. This one is Flow, Hack the Mundane, Intimacy. And it looks like we have some foiling on the front here, some pink foiling. There's a look at the box, finger cutouts, hard box, and some more of those cards there. One says Be Present, another says Daydream, Authenticity, Archetypes, Compassion. And then there's a look at the guidebook. We couldn't see that before. Let's see if we have anything else. Some more images. Okay, so that is a look at the Witchcraft Therapy Oracle deck. Releasing May 6th is the Spiritual Meanings of Birds Oracle deck. This deck will retail for $22.99 in the US and is published by Adams Media. The guidebook will be 50 pages. Gain insight and wisdom from our feathered friends with these 50 bird-inspired oracle cards from the best-selling author of The Green Witch and The Green Witch's Oracle deck. Birds can be important messengers if you know what to look for. Now, gaining the wisdom from these wise creatures is easier than ever with this deck of 50 oracle cards. With the deck, you'll find an informational booklet that details how to use the cards, how to interpret them, and even which spreads to choose. So let's take a look. Here we have a hard box, two-piece box with finger cutouts. Nice, beautiful front. So here's some of the guidebook, Understanding Your Oracle Deck Basics. And here we have examples of the write-ups. So we have a full color photo on one page, and then on the other, the message, and it gives you the name of the bird, the 3 keywords associated with it, the genus, and then the card meaning. And then at the bottom, it shows you where to find whatever bird is on that card. That's really cool. So let's read this message as an example of the writing. In this case, we have a bluebird. The keywords are happiness, peace, hope. The bluebird speaks to you of inner calm, peace, balance, harmony, and a genuine love of the self. Blue is a tranquil color, and its various associations suggest a balance between happiness and sadness, or an understanding that there must be a balance of both in life. If you actively look for happiness, you may not find it. Happiness is a result, not a goal. Don't look for something specific, but be open to it, however it may come. Think of the bluebird as inspiration or the opportunity to recognize happiness and welcome it. Joy is either imminent or already present. You have but to be open to it. And here we have the Chickadee Industry Leadership Review and the goldfinch. Very beautiful. Neat. Okay, let's see if we have anything else. So in the deck, there will be 50 of the most common birds you might encounter in person, in art, and in dreams. And there will be guidance on hidden symbolism and meanings, how they reflect on your situation, and more. And I was really curious about this deck because I definitely do see birds as messengers and feel quite connected to them. So love seeing this. So this is the Spiritual Meaning of Birds Oracle deck. Releasing May 6th is The Moon is a Mother Pregnancy Oracle deck. This deck will retail for $22 in the US. The publisher is Tarcher. The guidebook will be 42 pages. An inspirational, supportive oracle deck guided by intuition and ancestral wisdom to connect to yourself and your baby by wellness advocate, spiritual coach, and mama, Ethereal One. This 42-card deck and companion booklet is for anyone who wants to empower themselves through the journey of pregnancy and childbirth and deepen their relationship with nature, with their spiritual practice, and with themselves. And it mentions that there will be specific spreads to assist in connecting to your baby and what your future as a parent may hold. Gain insight into what you and your partner are experiencing, learn to set boundaries around what you want for your growing family, protect your home, and lay the foundation for a beautiful relationship with your baby. So here is the cover, some beautiful artwork on the front. Here is the back of the box. And here we have some of the cards, beautiful artwork. So, for example, we have a card numbered 2, the moon, La Luna. Then the next card is day and night. And then we have chamomile, jaguar, bones, an elephant. And then we have a look at the guidebook here. So I can kind of see these write-ups. Let me see. So short write-ups here. Yep. Short write-ups, but very beautiful artwork. I wonder if that's a hard box or a tuck box. I can't really tell. And I think that's the guidebook cover on the left here, lower left. So that's a look at the Moon is a Mother Pregnancy Oracle deck. Releasing on May 8th is Unity Oracle. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Blue Angel but distributed by Llewellyn in the US. The guidebook will be 168 pages. Unity Oracle is a gathering of wisdom from around the globe. It is a demonstration of harmony and a call for change for all of life on our beautiful planet. This kaleidoscope deck is the first of its kind, bringing together 95 artists and authors from emerging to established to co-create a collaborative oracular experience. With uplifting guidance and empowering messages of hope, these 50 vibrant cards showcase a curated mix of contributors who share a collective vision. And here it lists the artists and authors, and you can see that we have some new emerging artists and authors as well as some established ones. For example, I see Avalon Cameron, Lucy Cavendish, Alana Fairchild, Tess Whitehurst, and many others. So let's take a look at this deck. Here we have the box, and you can see some of the cards together, which really does showcase that there are varying styles of artwork in this deck. Now, when it comes to a tarot deck, I'm not necessarily as into that because it can be a little incongruent when it comes to blending the cards together in a full spread. For me personally, sometimes I pull far less oracle cards, sometimes just one, so that's less of a concern here when it comes to oracle cards, at least for me. So here's a look at the box. Here are the backs of the cards. Looks like combining different cards into one for the backs, with that leaning into that unity concept. So here we have a card example, and let's see, it's number 2, Never Forever, a chance to experience something rare. Another card, this is beautiful artwork here. So you can see that we have a number for the card, the name of the card, and then the statement below. And the messages seem to work together, despite the artwork varying in style. Winds of change, life unfolds in magical ways. Let's see if we have anything else here. So I can see 2 more cards all the way to the right there. That card kind of makes me think of Persephone just because she's holding a pomegranate, I guess. And in Possibilities, I definitely recognize that artist as well as number 2. So those must be the more established artists, just because I'm familiar with those styles. So that's a look at Unity Oracle. Releasing on May 8th is Divine Masculine Healing Oracle. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Blue Angel. The guidebook will be 176 pages. The ancient gods have returned, guiding us to rediscover lost parts of ourselves and safeguard the sanctity of life. Throughout history, masculinity has been severed from the sacred, but now it's time to embrace the insights from diverse pantheons and break the cycle of disconnection. This oracle celebrates the resurgence of a healed and integrated masculine energy, unlocking his honor and integrity. Created for those seeking a reunion with forgotten facets of their divinity, these cards reveal profound teachings inspired by the mythologies of many cultures, past and present. Designed to complement the feminine archetypes, this deck offers transformative wisdom via messages from Shiva, Horus, Eros, and other deities from around the world. Embody the divine masculine within and liberate the suppressed parts of your personal power, now and forever. So let's take a look. Here's a look at the box there, and we can see Anubis, the backs of the cards, and here we can see the guidebook. It looks like we have a hard box there. No edging on the cards. I wonder how many cards are in this deck. Looks like a decent sized stack there. Atlas, Cernunnos, not sure how to say that name, and more of the cards there, and a peek into the guidebook. And then here we can see more cards. So Hermes. Love seeing that. Maui. So we have a demigod in there. Anubis, we saw Anubis. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so some more images here. I don't see any new cards. So this is, of course, focused on divine masculine and has many gods in the deck. And if you want to bring balance, you could consider mixing it in with a divine feminine type of deck or a goddess deck. Of course, you'd want it to be of a similar size, so maybe another Blue Angel deck that's focused on those subjects. It is nice in this particular case to see a focus that brings more gods into view, because there are some there, for example, that you may want to work with that you don't have yet, because there seems to be more goddess decks out right now. So it is good to have a balance overall in that way, since I would say there are more goddess decks or divine feminine decks out there at the moment. That's a look at the Divine Masculine Healing Oracle. Releasing on May 8th is Tarot de Besançon. This deck will retail for $35.95 in the US and is published by Lo Scarabeo. The guidebook will be 32 pages. Discover the Besançon style of tarot with this new limited edition deck from Lo Scarabeo. This deck was originally produced in 1870 by a famous Parisian card maker. Now you can add this limited edition Anima Antica deck to your collection. This reproduction was created through meticulous research and is accompanied by a detailed booklet that delves into the origins and historical context of the cards. The cards will be printed on high-quality cardstock, and the deck will be packaged in a premium box with a lift top lid. So let's take a look at this deck. Here we can see that hard box with lift top lid, and a look at this reproduction artwork here. Here are the backs of the cards, and here we have our Fool. Yeah, this artwork is beautiful. Nice antique artwork. Our Wheel of Fortune and Temperance. I like that Hermit. That's cool. So we have this dual-sided to it, so certainly doesn't seem like you would use reversals with this deck because you want to be able to tell. So let's see if there's anything else. Okay, an overview. I don't see any new oh no, wait, here we go. We have the Hanged Man over on the right that we didn't get to see before. It doesn't have any head on this Hanged Man because of the dual nature of these cards. That's interesting. So exciting if you're interested in picking up reproductions of old decks or you like an antique style. So that's a look at Tarot de Besançon. Releasing May 8th is a new edition of Tarot Illuminati. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Llewellyn. The guidebook will be 128 pages. This new edition of Tarot Illuminati upgrades the original deck with an extended guidebook and a striking hardcover package. And it notes that the hardcover box will have a lift top lid. It also mentions that it will be made of high quality cardstock. So let's take a look. Here is a look at the box and some of the cards. If you're familiar with this deck already, you'll be familiar with the art. Now, I wish they give us a better picture of that box. I can't really tell too much here, but I know that Lo Scarabeo has been doing hard boxes with lift top lids, so I assume it's similar. I have a deck flip through of the Supernova Tarot that uses a lift top lid. I'm guessing it's like that. Hard to tell from that picture. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so here's some of the artwork. You may already be familiar with this deck since it has been out. I actually don't own any versions of this deck, so I can't really tell you too much about the changes, but maybe you are familiar with it. Okay, there I can tell a little bit more about the box with the lift top lid. It looks like maybe the top half is a larger lift off than the bottom. And down here we can see it showing the version 1 of it. It looks like that may have been a tuck box. But once again, I don't own any versions of this, so I can't really tell you. But yeah, if you have this deck and love it, well, having a hard box might be nice. So that's a look at a new edition coming out of the Tarot Illuminati. Releasing on May 8th is Oracle of the Chimeras. This deck will retail for $21.95 in the US and is published by Llewellyn. The guidebook will be 128 pages. Cultures around the world have found meaning in the animal kingdom, drawing inspiration from different creatures to achieve specific talents and strengths. In this deck, these animal powers find their human manifestation as chimeras, beautifully portrayed in this cute, soft-toned art. This oracle helps you manifest the qualities of these animals in your life. So here we have a look at the box. That is a beautiful cover. It has a bit of an Art Nouveau design to it. Here are the backs of the cards, has that similar Art Nouveau style look to it. And here we have a chimera. So this is a sort of cat-looking one. And there are no keywords or words on the cards, at least in these images here. We have a sort of decorative corners, almost like a border look to the cards. Very nicely done though. And here we have another with an elephant chimera. And wow, this one is wild. So she has a scorpion, what looks like a scorpion tail to me, and then the claws coming out of her hood. And I see 3 human hands and then 4 legs. Very interesting, intriguing. And we have this beautiful well person here. This is really nice artwork, and I love this soft color palette, and the decorative corners do add to it in my opinion. Now, if you want words on there, those don't appear to be there, so just keep that in mind. And it doesn't mention how many cards are in this oracle deck, so I wonder what that would be. I definitely saw a card 28. I would assume there's more than 28 cards. Okay, here I can see a card 36 in what I think is a narwhal, because she has a horn coming out of her head. So more of this cool artwork here. Beautiful artwork, and I'm gonna guess that this type of deck people will either really love or they're just completely not going to be into, because it is very specific. So that's a look at the Oracle of Chimeras. Releasing May 8th is Hafiz Oracle. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Blue Angel but distributed by Llewellyn in the US. The guidebook will be 128 pages. Traditionally praised as the tongue of the hidden, Hafiz has been unlocking the secrets of the heart for centuries. Now, through 44 original and lovingly translated verses, this deck will take you on a journey through the rapturous poetry of Hafiz and the guidance found within. So here we can see the box and some of the cards. I'm guessing that's Hafiz. A look at the guidebook. So we have a small color picture of the cards at the top, the name of the card, and a statement, and then a quote from Hafiz or some of their poetry, and then a longer message about that poetry, and then a mantra. So here we have our first card example, Song of Desire. Song of Determination, that's beautiful. Song of Gratitude, and we have some texture in this painting here, very nice. Song of Freedom, and here we can see the backs of the cards right through there, off to the side. And another look at the deck. So there is the guidebook and no edging on the cards. It looks like a hard box. Another look at those as well. Let's see if we have anything else. Just an overall peek at some of these cards. So very beautiful. That's a look at Hafiz Oracle. Releasing on May 8th is Joker Tarot. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Lo Scarabeo, distributed by Llewellyn in the US. The guidebook will be 128 pages, but my guess is this will be split into 4 languages since this is Lo Scarabeo. Many things can be hidden behind a simple grin: joy, amusement, malice, and even madness. No other human expression bears so much variety, and no other character has so much power and charisma as the Joker. Legendary archetype emerges from the black shadow of Corrado Roy's deep inks to shake up all certainties. Each card showcases one of Joker's 78 faces, revealing a new side of his rich and multifaceted persona. Now, this originally was a Kickstarter campaign by Lo Scarabeo. So here is a peek at that campaign. You can see that the box was different. They also had different versions that you could choose available. They had a version that was all black and white in here as well. So let's go back to the mass market version and take a look at what they've done with this one. Here we can see that really cool artwork, and there's a look at the box. Now, I don't know if this is a hard or tuck box. I'm gonna guess it's a tuck box because lately when Lo Scarabeo has a hard box, they call it a premium box and they'll say lift top lid. They didn't say that with this one, so it may just be a tuck box. There are the backs of those cards. Very trippy, I would call it. Very cool. The High Priestess. You can see that Joker in there. The Chariot. Look at that. I like that. That's that looks like trouble. Trouble to me. They look like they're getting into some trouble there. Strength. The Wheel. Judgment. Beautiful artwork. Really cool. Okay, let's see if we can see anything else. Some more cards here. So we couldn't see above, we could not see the Devil or the World. So now we can see those. Very exciting. Yeah, really nice artwork. So if you missed the Kickstarter or just wanted to pay maybe a lower price, here is your opportunity to pick up the Joker Tarot. Releasing May 8th is Feminine Myths Oracle. This deck will retail for $28.95 in the US and is published by Blue Angel, distributed by Llewellyn in the US. The guidebook will be 136 pages. The song of the goddess has echoed since the beginning of time. Now she is here in her kaleidoscope expression to guide you home to your courageous heart. In this boldly illustrated oracle, feminine deities across many cultures have been uniquely reimagined with a surrealist twist to inspire your multifaceted gifts. Receive guidance from these all-seeing, shape-shifting beings who share the mythic stories of ancient Greece, Ireland, Haiti, Yorubaland, Japan, and beyond. Each card's messenger, accompanied by their animal, elemental, celestial, and botanical allies, brings primordial wisdom to help you navigate towards the visions of your soul. Traditional maidens, mothers, and crones, as well as heroines and gender-fluid spirits, dance through this deck. Celebrate the many faces, bodies, and colors of the feminine while witnessing your own dynamic beauty and divine potential in their reflection. Now, this is interesting because earlier I covered a divine masculine oracle, and that was published by Blue Angel. This here is a feminine myths version published by Blue Angel. So both of them have myths, but have been separated by feminine versus masculine. And I suggested with the masculine that potentially you could mix it with a goddess deck or a divine feminine type of deck to balance it out if you were interested. So potentially this could be mixed. It is by Blue Angel, so I would assume that the card sizes are the same. That would be my guess. So just want to point that out. Let's take a look. So here we can see this beautiful artwork. Here are the backs of the cards. an example of the write-up. So we have the card number, the goddess or myth name, a keyword below it, and then in this case, Isis speaks and Isis's message, and then below it, a main message. So we have a number at the top, and then we have a name of the goddess or the feminine energy associated with the myth. So example here, we have 19, Lakshmi. And we can see that they are sticking with a similar color palette throughout all of these cards. Now here's a look at the box. Looks like a 2-piece hard box, and the guidebook does fit inside. Another look at the box, and you can also see that guidebook. Looks like we have a Persephone card over in the corner there. And another look at the guidebook. Looks like some glossy paper on there. Back of the box. So let's see if we can see any more here. Okay, we have not much more here. You can see the sides of the cards, and it looks like no edging. And it does note that there are 50 cards in this oracle deck, so that's great. I'm happy to see more than 40, ideally 44 or more. So that's a look at the Feminine Myths Oracle. Releasing on May 13th is Mystic Islands Oracle, Wisdom from Java and Beyond. This deck will retail for $26.95 in the US and is published by Rockpool Publishing. The guidebook will be 112 pages. This captivating and velvety deck offers a rich exploration of traditional Indonesian myths through a feminine lens. Mira, deeply influenced by her Javanese heritage, invites us into an enchanting journey. Each card reveals profound mysteries and timeless wisdom, illuminating the strength and resilience of the female figures entwined in these tales. Inspired by folkloric Indonesian tales and Javanese magic beliefs, you may see a reflection of yourself through a different lens from these traditions. There will be 44 cards in this deck, and they will be divided into 5 sections, each with special offerings or suggestions that you can incorporate into your personal rituals. The guidebook includes a visualization practice that will help transition your mind from the chaos of daily life into a quieter and more focused state of being before using the cards. So let's take a look at this deck. Here we can see the box over on the left. Looks like a hard box. We have black and white with a bright yellow on it. Another look at the front of the box and the side. And here we can see a few cards. They are in black and white, which should make it easier to combine with other decks. So here we have Banyan Tree with the keyword network. And then up at the top, you can see that we have on the right, we have a number, and on the left, we have an elemental symbol. Same here, elemental symbol at the top and number. And in this case, it is a card named Dark Magic, and the keyword below it is avoidance. Wow, so this is diving in deep here. And I can't say that, I don't want to mispronounce it, but below is success. And very cool images here. This is very different from other decks that are available that I can think of at the moment. Oh, look at that. Ooh, cool. Okay. Neglect. Ooh, slander. So this is dealing with some dark subjects for sure. How to use the cards. We have a 1-card spread, a 3-card spread, wind, air, so it breaks them down into their elements. So here's an example of a write-up. Number 1, Kresna, diplomacy. So we have a main keyword, and then under it, it lists other keywords. Then below it, it gives you the origin, and then below it, a mantra. So that's great. And then it talks about the tradition, and then the wisdom. And then the same thing for the other write-ups, it looks like. Oh, she's beautiful. Wow, love that. So this one is sovereignty. Very beautiful. Let's see if we have anything else. So that's great. It will give an example of the write-ups down here of the message part of it. So for example, here it says dark magic avoidance. The dark magic card signifies avoidance in an issue at hand. Instead of tackling your problems head on, you seek the easy way out of your situation. Shortcuts are always around whenever you need them. However, you should ask yourself if this is truly the path you'd like to choose. Your search for an easy solution might affect or harm those around you. The past has a way of creeping up on you, and not resolving the issue might cause it to reappear when you least expect it. So some straightforward advice there, some tough love digging right in and maybe saying something that you really need to hear that oracle decks that might be a little too sweet may not say, or may, for example, help you avoid the issue. This is telling you right here to stop doing that. Or at least that's the message I get. So very cool, and definitely a good place in oracle decks that can fill potentially a void. I am seeing more oracle decks that are like that, and that is good to have for sure. So this is very unique in its artwork and its messages. That's a look at Mystic Island's Oracle. And now, for a 45-second word from our sponsor, that's me. I'd love to help you gain insights, find clarity, and empower yourself to make choices aligned with your highest goals and aspirations. As a certified tarot reader, I offer personalized readings designed to provide powerful guidance, whether you're seeking answers to specific questions or a deeper understanding of your spiritual and life path. To book your tarot reading or purchase your birth chart, please visit my website at elowynlefay.com. If you prefer to connect via email, you can find my contact information in the description below. I'm excited to support you on your journey towards greater clarity and empowerment. Releasing May 13th is the Sensory Herbal Oracle. Connect with the energy and healing power of plants. This deck will retail for $26.95 in the US and is published by Watkins Publishing. The guidebook will be 176 pages. The charismatic Seed Sisters distill over 20 years of clinical and teaching experience into these 40 plant-themed oracle cards. This deck will link users to much-loved plants, empower them to take charge of their own health care, and inspire reconnection with the land, the elements, and the seasons. The guidebook included covers, unique card spreads, herbal healing tools, powerful visuals, detailed instructions regarding connections between the cards, and detailed plant profiles. So let's take a better look. I found a website where I could see more than I could see there. So here we can see some of the cards and bright colors. We can see that there is a keyword, and then it lists the herb name. And you can tell that these are color-coded cards by those borders. There's a look at the box. We have a hard 2-piece box with finger cutout, and the guidebook fits inside. Another look at the cards and box. So there we have adventure, ginger. And here we can see an example of the write-up. So we have the herb name, the Latin name, the planetary association. Oh, I like that. The plant family, the vibe, and then a message, and then meaning in a reading. And another look at those cards. So that's a look at the Sensory Herbal Oracle. Releasing on May 27th is the Atomic Element Healing Oracle, a 44-card deck and guidebook of goddesses, angels, medical intuition, and the periodic table of elements. This deck will retail for $22.99 in the US and is published by Hay House. The guidebook will be 136 pages. Experience the magic of atoms and the energy that flows through all things. Discover a first-of-its-kind oracle deck by medical intuitive Amy Lee Marcree that invites you to take a deep dive into the matter and energy that make up our universe. Transforming the periodic table into a vibrant collection of spirit guides, each element becomes a friend, healer, and confidant, ready to share its wisdom. Connect with elemental archetypes like hydrogen's limitless potential or tungsten's steadfast structure through artwork bursting with color and cosmic energy. The guidebook includes insightful spreads, nutritional tips, energetic healing practices, and wisdom from our angels, ancestors, goddesses, and planetary teachers. So let's take a look. Here we can see the box. It is a hard box, and we can see some of the cards. So for example, here we have the element, silver, and the text below is a little bit cut off, but I'm guessing that it says Cosmic Records. I'm not totally sure. So this looks like digital artwork to me, and I did check Hay House's site, and the listing simply took me to this Amazon listing, so they don't have any additional pictures there that I can show you. So a little bit different here with the medical intuition guidance, as well as the periodic table of elements combined into this deck. So that's a look at the Atomic Element Healing Oracle. Available on May 27th is Movie Tarot Mini Deck, Be Guided by the Stars. This mini deck will retail for $12.99 in the US and is published by Lawrence King Publishing. Be guided by iconic characters from your favorite movies in this mini tarot deck. Each character embodies the qualities of the archetype they represent. From Forrest Gump as the Fool and Tony Montana from Scarface as the Emperor to Ellen Ripley from Alien as Strength. This fully functional deck contains 78 tarot cards, along with a poster detailing how to interpret the cards and how to conduct readings. So it looks like the guidebook is going to be in the form of a fold-out poster. Now, it doesn't give me the exact size of these cards, but I can see below the dimensions, so I assume that's going to be the dimensions with the box as well. So it says 2.36 inches by 1.57 by 3.78, just to give you an idea. And like I mentioned, that's probably with the box. So here's a look at the artwork that will be on the box cover, I believe. Here is the back of the box. The box itself. It looks like this is going to be a hard box to me with a flap that flips open to one side by looking at the back of that deck. Ooh, and there might be, it looks pretty shiny there, so that may actually have some foiling on the front. And there you can see the side of the box and the back of the cards. We have the Magician and the Empress. Here we go. I can see Bruce Lee right there. So let's take a look. Closer look here. Okay. Oh, Furiosa. Amelie. As well as many other movies here. Okay. Ooh. Cool. We got Pulp Fiction over here. And of course, David Bowie. Yeah, okay. What else? Okay, so here we can really see the box. It is a flip open type hard box. And there we can see the High Priestess. That's fun. Okay, that's everything there. So that's a look at Movie Tarot Mini Deck. Releasing May 28th is Boadicea's Tarot of Earthly Delights, and this will be a deck and guidebook box set. The deck will retail for $34.99 in the US and is published by Red Feather. The guidebook will be a nice long 216 pages. Immerse yourself into a bold new visual tarot landscape derived from masterfully collaged fine art images and rich with details that both inspire and amuse. This deck is a medley of collaged images drawn from Western culture and beyond, dense with beautiful and amusing details that enhance divinatory nuance and deepen interpretations. This deck comprises of 80 cards and has a nod towards the Rider-Waite-Smith system, while also providing a fresh visual interpretation using assembled fine art from antiquity through the Golden Age and spiced with razor-sharp wit and wisdom. The minor suits are dubbed combustion, tentacles, ether, and fungi. The deck comes with a comprehensive color guidebook brimming with in-depth tarot insight, diving into the rich meaning of each card and including expert insights on queries, spreads, and more. Now, I am excited to see this deck come out. This was an indie deck that I wanted, but it was pretty pricey, so I did not pick up. So here we have a look at the box, and let's see, the Reader's Companion, I think. Is that the back? That might be the back of the box. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at the artwork first, and then we'll look at the guidebook examples. So starting off with the Magician. I love this Magician. This definitely, for me, feels very much like a magician. Or for me, a witchy magician, which I love. Now we can see that there are borders on this deck, and that's how the indie version was as well. So here we have the Page of Combustion. So they are using combustion instead of wands. Here we have a beautiful 8 of Tentacles, and they are using tentacles instead of cups. Here we have 2 of Ether, so instead of swords, we have ether. And here, Ace of Fungi, so instead of pentacles, we have fungi, so the earth element, which makes sense. So here we have one of the additional cards, because if you recall, it mentioned that there were 80 cards when normally there are 78 cards in a tarot deck. So this is one of the additional cards, the Perspicacious Platypus. And I think this is really fun. So I can see the wit here and really enjoy it. Now, the other additional card is Boadicea the Queen. So I didn't see that shown there, but that is the additional card. Now let's look at some of the guidebook examples. So here we have the contents. And then it's going to tell you a little bit about the Queen. I love that. And more about the deck itself. And then here is an example of the write-up for the Major Arcana. So we have the number, the card name, and then below it, it talks about the symbolism in the card. So that's great. Then it has a short interpretation message. Then it gives you an upright meaning, and then a reversed meaning, and then it gives you a further breakdown of the symbols as well. So that is great. Now here's an example for the Minor Arcana, and it seems to follow a similar suit, although the upright and reversed messages are a little bit shorter. And it does show you a full color picture of that card. Yeah, so that's great. I love the symbolism breakdown. Now here we have an example of some of the spreads. Let's see if we have anything else. Here we go. So you can see those cards again. Guidebook a little bit bigger here. Very beautiful. I am excited for this deck, and stay tuned if you're interested, because I do plan on doing a flip through as soon as I can get my hands on it. So that's a look at Boadicea's Tarot of Earthly Delights. Releasing on May 28th is the Unifying Consciousness Tarot. This deck will retail for $34.99 in the US and is published by Red Feather. The guidebook will be 176 pages. Open your all-seeing eye, activate your soul memory, and discover the way forward with this inspirational 79-card deck and guidebook. This deck offers a gateway for new and experienced tarot readers to tap into the universal consciousness and sources of infinite wisdom, compassion, and love. This deck is based on the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith structure, and it features an extra Major Arcana card called Activation. This deck features imagery from sacred geometry, nature, the cosmos, and beyond for a profoundly powerful deck that speaks to many spiritual paths. With suit imagery augmented by sacred geometric shapes and court cards expressed as soul, spirit, heart, and mind, this deck boldly builds on traditional tarot structure with new layers of meaning. So let's take a look. We have what looks like a hard magnetic flip open box. And here we have the Empress. You can see some of the traditional symbolism there, though not all of it. For example, I don't spot a symbol for Venus. And additionally, there is a crown with stars. This crown has 7 stars instead of the traditional 12 stars, which are to represent the planets. So in this card, I'm guessing that it's 7 stars for 7 chakras, or it could be for the 7 continents, since this is about unifying consciousness. The 7 could mean a lot of things. I'm assuming that there is an intent and purpose to that. We do see additional new imagery added to this Empress card. Here we have the 6 of Cups, very sweet. And here we have the Ace of Swords. This makes me think of using your mind's eye, and what looks like the 7 of Pentacles, and then Heart of Wands. So here's where we see where they made changes to the court card. So I'm assuming here that heart equals queens, so Heart of Wands. And this Heart of Wands has a 3rd eye, as well as a pyramid over their heart. And that same crown that we saw in the Empress card with the 7 stars, and then radiating energy from that wand. A very modern style of art, feels like it is digital to me. Let's see if we have anything else. Okay, we did see these cards. Oh, and here's a look at a guidebook example. So here we can see the number of the card, the name of the card, and for Major Arcana, it has 2 pages of the write-up. So we have the message, then interpretation, and then a blessing from the High Priestess. So a blessing from that Major Arcana card. Now, let me also take a look at these guidebook examples. I wanted to see the art first. So here we have the table of contents, more. Here's that High Priestess write-up. And here we go. Here are some Minor Arcana example write-ups. So these are shorter. These get 1 page each. They have the message, and then at the bottom they have an activation. And then it looks like we have at minimum 1 spread. Let's look at the contents here. Tarot spread. So there must be multiple tarot spreads in the guidebook. So that's a look at the Unifying Consciousness Tarot deck. Releasing May 28th is the Butterfly Wisdom Tarot, Guiding Wings for Your Journey. This deck will retail for $29.99 in the US and is published by Red Feather. The guidebook will be 144 pages. Perfect for life's transformative periods, the Butterfly Wisdom Tarot is a gentle companion ready to guide your insights and uplift your spirits. This deck is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system and features 78 intricately cross-stitched butterfly designs. Stitching the butterflies catalyzed a period of transformative healing in the author's life. This deck offers comforting guidance for readers of all experience levels while providing support for life's toughest moments. In the guidebook, discover short stories written both to inspire and delight, as well as questions to invite deeper interpretation. The guidebook also includes 6 butterfly patterns so readers can create their own using supplies from home. And I think that's really cool. So here we go. Here's a look at the box. I'm assuming that's a hard box. And here we have this cross-stitched Empress. Very beautiful. I love that this is cross-stitched. That is so cool. And this is very clever. We have the butterfly hemmed in with the 8 swords. So you still have that classic meaning there, just done in a creative new way. Very beautiful. And then we have this Ace of Discs. The seed has been planted. Page of Wands. And the King of Cups. Very beautiful. This is fun. Okay, here we go. Here are some more cards. We have the Lovers, the Two of Wands, and the Star. On the star, they've included the Aquarius symbol, as well as constellations in the background. Here is a nice big example of the write-up. So this is for the major arcana. We have the card name. We have key ideas. We have the write-up, and then we have thoughts for deeper interpretation. And that's about 1.5 pages long. And then here we can see one of the patterns on the left. And it looks like we have a legend for the pattern as well in there. Now let's take another look at the guidebook now that we've seen some of the artwork. So here's the table of contents, introduction. Here is another major arcana write-up example. And here we go. Here are some minors. So for the Ace of Wands, Two of Wands. So the minors are going to get 1 page, but they will still include key ideas and thoughts for deeper interpretation along with the main message. And here's another look at that pattern on the left and another pattern on the right. Neat. And so this has a writing prompt and also thoughts while stitching. That's pretty cool. I like it. Very creative. So that's a look at the Butterfly Wisdom Tarot. Releasing on May 31st is Magical Hours Tarot. This deck will retail for $29.95 in the US and is published by US Game Systems. The guidebook will be 128 pages. In nature, time is dynamic and ever-evolving. The light changes every hour, and with it, the colors and subtle sensations that open our eyes to the magic of each moment. This unique deck follows the path of the sun and the moon throughout the hours of the day and the night. By paying attention to these alchemical shifts, we discover the insights and messages available to us. So let's take a look. Here we have this beautiful cover and the Emperor, very dreamlike, the Wheel of Fortune, 9 of Pentacles. I'm not sure how I feel about that 9 in white up at the top. This artwork is quite beautiful though. Let's see if we have anything else. Not down there. So let's pop over to US Games. So over at US Games, we can see the backs of the cards. No edging on those cards. So there's the box, hard box. Looks like a magnetic flip open box. There's the guidebook. And there's a tuck box. So that tuck box will go inside this larger hard flip open box. Let's see if we have any new cards. Here we go, 4 of Pentacles. And 7 of Swords. Beautiful background. And then the Sun. Oh, beautiful. The 4 of Cups. 5 of Pentacles. 2 of Cups. Now I'm noticing that I don't see a lot of men in this deck. I did in, I believe it was the Emperor card, but let me go back. I see one in the Emperor card, but none of these other examples have that. So keep that in mind, that there's cards where you might normally see a boy or a man in it that do not have that there. Okay, so check out what I found. US Games has a bit of a flip through. So it looks like we've got some spot gloss on that box. And magnetic flip open. There's that deck that comes out in the tuck box. some of the cards. Very quickly flipped through here. Okay, let's skip ahead through all that. What else do we have? Oh, it's... Okay, that's what we want. I want to see them one at a time here. Let's see. Oh, there's the backs. There is the guidebook, so full color pictures in there with write-ups. Okay. And that box. Okay, so I found one more way to see some more of the cards here. So here is the Star card, the Nine of Cups, Three of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. So that's a look at the Magical Hours Tarot. And now for books. Releasing on May 5th is The Tarot Architect, How to Become the Master Builder of Your Spiritual Temple. This book will retail for $24.95 in the US and is published by Weiser. The book will be 368 pages long. For many, the tarot serves as a compass, illuminating the path to their true will and guiding them toward their destiny. If you've ever felt stuck or unsure of which way to turn, the tarot offers a beacon, revealing unseen options and providing clarity on difficult decisions. Now you have a unique opportunity to master the art of tarot under Lon Milo Duquette, an internationally recognized authority on tarot and esoteric principles. You will discover how to interact with the cards, whether new to tarot or an experienced reader, along with learning the unique colors, correspondences, and basic symbolism of each of the 78 tarot cards, their history, and simple ritual exercises designed to activate and integrate the spiritual forces resident in each individual card. By the end of the book, you'll bring together all the knowledge you've learned to create your own tarot deck, a tangible reflection of your journey, and a tool for continued spiritual growth and divinatory practice. And here we see a quote from Benabel Wen that says, "This is an indispensable tarot grimoire that is both accessible and profound. The serious student of Western mystery traditions is going to cherish this text." And another quote from Mary K. Greer, "Few people have explored the underlying dynamics among the Kabbalistic and tarot correspondences to the extent that Lon Duquette has." And Mary K. Greer wrote the foreword for this book. So this is pretty exciting, at least to me. So here is the cover of the book. Looks like we have a video here. Let's check it out. There is the cover. Nice big size book. Oh yeah, thick, nice book. Back of the book. I love that quote it has on there. And the contents. Okay, there's the foreword. And you can see some images here, so that's nice. When there's a lot of images, I like to have the hardback book as opposed to an ebook. But that's just me. So really breaking down the symbolism in those cards. Okay, yeah, super exciting. I am looking forward to reading this book. Okay, so we have a contents here. You can take a look at that. And here we can see a little bit of a write-up. So in this case, for the universe. And in this, we can see that it breaks down the traditional image, Hebrew letter, on the cube of space, on the tree of life, the color scales, the musical note, and the vowel sound. So I am definitely excited for this one. That is a look at the Tarot Architect. Releasing on May 5th is Tarot in Other Words, an essential anthology by leading queer tarot writers. This book will retail for $17.95 in the US, and it's published by Weiser. The book will be 208 pages long. This must-have anthology presents a collection of alternative approaches to reading the tarot for those looking to gain new and deeper insight, especially for marginalized folks who don't see themselves reflected in traditional presentations of the tarot. Cassandra Snow's groundbreaking book, Queering the Tarot, helped change the shape of tarot discourse for scores of new readers to reclaim this ancient practice in their own way. Tarot, in other words, opens doors for these brilliant tarotists, offering unique insights and concepts for tarot readers of all levels. The anthology, presented in 2 parts, 1. Finding ourselves in the tarot, and 2. Finding the tarot in ourselves, comprises 10 essays that shine a light on the tarot from multiple queer perspectives. Understanding queerness and why it matters in tarot can teach all of us so much about not just gender and sexuality, but also how and why we should liberate ourselves in the first place. These essays on queerness show us that who we are is right, beautiful, and sacred. Tarot, in other words, is a necessary and overdue addition to the tarot canon that allows a number of queer voices to come together to share their tarot views and help fledgling and intermediate tarot readers discover their own voices in the process. And it lists the contributors here, and there are many great authors on this list, so this is definitely very exciting to see. Now, let's take a look. So here is the cover, and I saw a video, so let's check it out. Okay, here we have the cover. Oh, glossy, kind of 3D effect on that title for tarot. Beautiful. There we have the author, Cassandra Snow, or the main author. And there's the contents. Introduction, part 1 and part 2 here. Finding ourselves in the tarot. Oh, the Grieving Fool. We have different cards broken down in here. Oh, a tarot spread. Finding the tarot in ourselves. I love that. Queering tarot's numbers. What else? Queer applications, Trick Mirror Tarot, talks about self-reflections. Oh, this is juicy, very exciting. Okay, let's see if we have anything else down here. Okay, contents, A Life Well Built, Exploring Queer Adulthood with the Minor Arcana. The Grieving Fool, that caught my eye. And this tarot spread here. Tarot spread for checking in with grief work. Very cool. Okay. So excited for this. That is a look at Tarot in Other Words. Releasing on May 8th is Talking with the Tarot. Conversations with your 78 new best friends. This book will retail for $18.99 in the US and is published by Llewellyn. It will be 240 pages long. Dish with your deck. Reading tarot will be as easy as talking to your best friend with this beginner-friendly guide to understanding every card. Samantha Rose Hicks presents the conversational approach to tarot, which helps you form real, heartfelt connections to the 78 individuals in your deck. Hicks introduces you to every card in the deck and shares the 4 important questions to ask yourself with each draw. She also shares exercises to deepen your connections, such as imagining yourself within the card's scenario and questions to ask when a card is reversed. A conversation once changed Hicks' life, now she passes that experience on to you. With her unique approach, you'll no longer have to rely on standard impersonal meanings. You'll know each card like an old friend who makes you feel safe, seen, and understood. So let's take a look at this cover. There is the cover there, and there is the lovely author there. And we have a review from Lisa Pepez. It says, "Forget stiff textbook tarot. In this delightful book, Samantha Rose Hicks shows you how to chat with your deck like an old friend, an approach that makes tarot feel fun, accessible, and refreshingly personal. Talking with the tarot is a must-have for anyone looking to build a real relationship with the card." And that is a nice quote. So that's a look at Talking with the Tarot. Releasing on May 20th is Pendulum Craft, your guide to using, choosing, and understanding pendulums. This book will retail for $19.99 in the US and is published by Sterling Ethos. The book will be 224 pages long. And I know this isn't a tarot deck, but I also know that many of us use pendulums in conjunction with our tarot decks, so thought I'd cover this. Now it looks like this is going to be a hardcover book, so that is nice. And it says, pendulums are a fixture in the metaphysical world. They are tools for decision making, but they can be so much more. Pendulums are a physics equation made magic. Pendulums allow bodies and other realms to communicate through otherwise indiscernible vibrations. These are magical tools that hold massive potential for how to divine information and connect on a deeper level. This book is an expansive, useful guide to using pendulums not just for divination, but for introspection, experimentation, and channeling messages from the beyond. In addition to a deep dive into the history and usage of pendulums, from water witching to folk healing, the author covers different types of pendulums, including how to make a pendulum or select one at the store. They also cover how to connect and calibrate a pendulum, how to trust inner knowing, and finally, how to work with a pendulum board and ask the right questions that will produce desired information. Taylor's fascinating black and white art illustrates the fundamentals of the pendulum and how it has been used throughout history. This book also includes a selection of pendulum boards for different kinds of questions, which can be pulled out of the book. That's cool. So here's a look at the cover, and that will be a hardcover, so very nice. I like those colors. And here is the back. See if there's anything else. Nope. Just talks a bit about the author, which is Fox Taylor. So that's a look at Pendulum Craft. Releasing May 27th is You Will Be Able to Read Tarot by the End of This Book. This book will be a hardcover book, and it will retail for $22.99 in the US. The publisher is Ilex Press. The book will be 224 pages. A foolproof, highly accessible guide to understanding tarot, incorporating beautiful botanical illustrations of all of the cards in the major and minor arcana alongside the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is a straightforward guide to everything you need to know about reading tarot, from a basic understanding of what each card means, all the way to detailed readings to enrich your everyday life. Using flowers as an accessible, engaging starting point into tarot makes this a perfect handbook for navigating this centuries-old practice. And it gives us a chapter breakdown. So we have the introduction, why tarot is important, and how flowers offer the most accessible introduction to tarot. And then we have another section called Seed, how to pull cards in a tarot spread. The next section is Sprout, how to read the cards of the major arcana. The next section is Bloom, how to read the cards of the minor arcana. And then finally we have Harvest, how to read the tarot in full and renew growth with others. So here we have the cover, the hardcover. Another look at the hardcover book there. It looks like it might have some foiling for the lettering on the front, and that is quite beautiful. We have color pictures there. So we have the botanical illustrations on the right, and then in smaller imagery on the lower left, we have the traditional Rider-Waite card. Of course, here it's using pink and white for the colors. And at the top, we have the name of the card, and it has magic words. And then it has the flower associated, and then it has a write-up below it. Here's another look at the book. Nice and beautiful. Here you can see the side. And then here are some more peeks at the book. I can't read that small fuzzy font, but I can read some of the top. It says how to use this book. Another one says 5 cards for growth. And then the other is a write-up for the Wheel of Fortune. And then it talks a bit about the 2 authors here. And notably, Nicole Rallis worked on the Pythia Botanical Oracle and Ophidia Rose Tarot. And the other author listed is Peter Henry Reed, who is a writer and artist, and he collaborates with Nicole on many creative endeavors, including the beloved Ad Orbita Tarot. So that's a look at You Will Be Able to Read Tarot by the end of this book. Before we wrap up our virtual shopping spree, I'd love to hear what's on your tarot wish list this month. If there's something exciting I didn't cover, or if you know of any upcoming releases, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I'm excited to hear about what you're looking forward to. And that wraps up our look at new tarot releases for this month. I hope you enjoyed this virtual shopping spree as much as I did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. And for more, check out the video linked on your screen right now. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy deck shopping.